So we're going to look at the solutions for the quadratic functions assignment 6, and you had 3 questions to do. For each of them you were doing the same thing. You were determining the nature of the roots of the function. What we mean by that is we need you to work out the discriminant and then basically use one of these statements here as your final conclusion that relates to the value of the b squared minus 4ac, which is what we refer to as the discriminant. So this first question, you should be comparing. When you do these questions, you need to compare your values and write down what your a, b and c are. So here a would be equal to 1, your b, the number in front of the x, would be 4, and the c is the number on its own. So working with that, the b squared minus 4ac, you're going to have replace the b with 4, so 4 squared minus, remember this 4ac bit means 4 times the value of a, which is 1, times by 5, the value of c. So we're going to have 16 minus, and you do that bit all together. BODMAS rule means you're doing all that times in first. So you've got 16 minus 20. That, remember, is the same thing as 16 add negative 20, which of course we know is negative 4. So that turns out to be less than 0. So what that means for us is if we were subbing that into the big quadratic formula, because that's under a square root, we wouldn't be able to work out a value. So the implication of that is that since there are since b squared minus 4ac is less than 0, there are no real roots, and that needs to be your conclusion when you do this. So that would be your final answer. So you work out your b squared minus 4ac, it turns out to be negative 4, which means it's less than 0, therefore there won't be any roots when you do this. Okay, so we do the same thing with question 2. You identify your a, b and your c. So here a, the number in front of the x squared, is 2. The b, number in front of the x, you need to take account of negative, so what's that? Negative 5. And c is also negative. And again, substituting into b squared minus 4ac, remembering to put brackets round your negative number, so negative 5 squared minus 4 times your a would be 4 times 2 times by negative 3. And again, remember that we will be doing that together. So negative 5 squared, remember, negative 5 times negative 5 is positive 25. Minus, you've got 4 times 2, which is 8. 8 times negative 3 is negative 24. And what that means for you is you're doing 25 add. The additive inverse of negative 24 is positive 24. So that actually becomes the answer of 49. Clearly that is greater than 0. And when that happens, when your discriminant is greater than 0, that means that you've got this scenario here where you've got roots are real and distinct. So you get 2 different roots, right? The word distinct just means they're different. And that's your conclusion with this one here, is that since your discriminant, your b squared minus 4ac is greater than 0, roots are real and distinct, and you need to put that statement in. The last one, question 3, same again, right, working with your value for a, b and c. So you've got a here is equal to 1. If there's no number there, remember it's a 1. B is 6 and c is 9. And when you sub that into b squared minus 4ac, you get 6 squared minus 4 times 1 times 9. And 6 squared is 36. 4 times 1 times 9 is 36. So we end up with 0. And your statement that you use when you get it to be 0, remember, is that your roots are equal. So for this one, right, you will be using the statement that says since b squared minus 4ac equals 0, your roots are real and equal, and that's how you finish that question. So for each of these questions, they're usually worth 2 marks. You'd get a mark for calculating the b squared minus 4ac correctly, and then you get the mark for working out, for making your statement of your nature of your roots.